Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving and you're able to get some good food and reflect on what's most important to you, what you're grateful for. Bitcoin is a life-changing opportunity, but finding ways to be grateful every day and not just on Thanksgiving is also life-changing in a more significant way. And I've been trying to be more grateful in my life just every day for even the simple things. Even if you're struggling with your life, you can always find things to be grateful for, like living in the country that we do, and we all have shelter, we all have heaters to keep us warm in the winter, we have ACs to keep us cool in the summer. We have indoor plumbing, we have even just the processes like breathing that we've been given, and the automatic processes and things that our body does. It's just amazing. And so I'm trying to reflect more on that and how important that is to realize those blessings and where they come from. And we have a lot to be thankful for with Bitcoin and crypto. So we've seen some big gains in the last couple months, and if you've been following me too, you've seen that and a lot of things that I've called. And so I wasn't gonna make a video this weekend. I was just gonna relax and do a few things around the house, but there's just so much happening in crypto that I wanted to share some things with you, and I wanted to share a coin that I found that I think could do really well. So I wanted to get that to you and update you on some other things. Last video I talked about 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁𝗍𝗂𝗍 Memecoin, so I'll give you a quick update there. And then also for all the degenerates out there, I got a good low cap meme coin that I'm looking at right now. So I'll talk about that, and I'll just talk about meme coins in general and where I think we're headed with that too. So hit the like, hit subscribe, and let's get started here with Bitcoin. And we can see that Bitcoin is back to the $97,000 to $98,000 range. It went clear down to 91K, and a lot of people think we're panicking and thinking that it was going to go lower down to 80K or even 75K. But we reversed from there and went back up to 97, 98, and we're probably going to test that 100K range again. And from here, we could go back down to 80K. As I said in last video, these retracements that are 20 to 25% are pretty common in the bull market. And so we could see that, but for me, I just don't see that happening because we're right in a bullish uptrend here. At the end of the year is usually bullish here, especially in an election year. And so I think we get it above 100K first, and maybe even up to like 120 and 30K before we pull back. Because even if you look at just the monthly returns in a election year or a halving year, which halving years always fall on the election year, so either way you want to say it. In November, we were at 38% for the month so far. And you can see back in 2020, we had a 46% November, or excuse me, 42% November, followed by a 46% December. And then back in 2016, this was a little bit lower. We had a 6%, quite a bit lower actually. We had a 6% November and a 30% December. And 2016 is a little bit different because the halving was a little bit later. So it might be more fair to compare the next few months after that. We really didn't get going until April or May of the following year. And you can see there we had over 20% and around 70% for May. So for this month, I could see us getting up to, even if you just average 2016 and 2020 returns in December, you can see that 46% and 30 were about in between. There would be around 38%. And if we got to 38% from where we are now, we're talking about a Bitcoin between 120 and 130K. So I think that's doable, and that could happen. And then before we see that, a bigger pullback, and maybe we go up to 125, 130 and pull back to 100K. So that's what the numbers are showing for as far as the past. And then just to update you on Alex Becker's meme coin that I talked about in the last video, he made an update here. I mentioned that he was going to do this next cipher competition thing on Thanksgiving yesterday, but he realized that Thanksgiving was Thursday, and he said he's going to move it back. So as he said here, I forgot it was Thanksgiving. The World of Warcraft Gnome run will now be on Sunday evening. I will post time rules Saturday. So he's got a new video dropping on Saturday, and he's going to talk about AI coins and real world assets. New vid drops Saturday, as he says, on Boomer real world assets with the second time drop hint. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is the potentially the next Solana that could have a similar run to what Solana had last cycle. And, I've mentioned 𝗬𝗎 in previous videos, and I think that's something that could do similar to what Solana did. But I also found a recent layer 1 coin that recently launched that I think could do even better than 𝗬𝗎 because it's a lower market cap. And so I wanted to share that with you here before the weekend's over. So as we can see, Solana, if we look at last cycle, around the same time, 4 years ago, Solana was well under $2. And by the end of the cycle at the peak, the next year, in the next September, or October, November of 2001, it went up to $250 plus. And so that's an easy 100x that Solana did last time. And so I don't think 𝗬𝗎 is too big now to really do 100x. But there's another one that I've been researching and looking into that I think could potentially do this. And it's called Peak, the Peak Network, and it recently launched. So what is Peak, and why do I think it's going to do so well here? So it's actually it's a layer 1 blockchain, so it's just like Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, or 𝗬𝗎. And, while there's all these trends with meme coins and AI and gaming, you could look at this as kind of like the gold rush, back in the gold rush days. And the people that actually made money were not the people that mined the gold. Some people got lucky and made a lot of money mining gold. But the people that made the most money and were the most successful were those people that were providing the infrastructure for the miners and providing the picks and the shovels for the miners, right? And so I see layer 1s in crypto blockchains as similar to this because they're providing the infrastructure for all these things to run on, like all these gaming things and meme coins and real world assets. Like it's all taking place on these different blockchains. And so while these different coins are going to trend and do all sorts of things, layer 1s are kind of always the constant throughout these bull runs. And so that's why I think one reason why I think this can do so well. And another reason is that it also hits on one of these trends, which is DePin. And DePin stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. And what these are is, this refers to projects and protocols that merge blockchain technology with real world infrastructure. And so they enable more decentralized ownership. And so Peak is one of these plays that focuses on bringing these real world assets and real world use cases and allowing developers to build decentralized apps to make these things more efficient. So a few examples of people that are already building stuff on Peak, decentralized apps. One of these is Silencio. It's DePin crowdsourcing the world's noise pollution map via a phone app and rewards people with tokens for collecting local noise data. And there's also this 𝗥𝗲𝗹, which is a tokenization platform for autonomous robots behind the world's first tokenized automatic robo-cafe. And we have stuff like this map metrics, which is a drive to earn DePin rewarding people for collecting navigation data via phone app. And then Teneo protocol, a DePin for crowdsourcing real-time social media data via more than 250,000 community nodes. And then I'll just play this quick video of DePin and why the world needs Peak.
as our society evolved, we brought in middlemen to make things easier. But the middlemen that once offered a helping hand have now gotten out of hand.
I know it's your car, but I did help you guys find each other.
Like this guy, taking half of the cut. Or this delivery girl doing all the work and making next to nothing in return.
Well, I did build the app.
It's everywhere.
I'm just gonna take that.
It's time to go back to a peer-to-peer system. It's time we hand back ownership to the people. It's time for community-owned apps and services across every domain and industry. By us, for us, on a community-owned network. It's time for a global infrastructure revolution, from energy to mobility to connectivity and so much more. It's time for Peak.
So basically, as you can see, it's removing the middleman from all these things that traditionally have had a middleman taking some of the cut, and it's just making it more efficient, giving it back to the actual users of the product. So if we go into their website, you can see some of the things that they're building and what they're doing, kind of their fundamentals. So you can see that their network is highly decentralized, and it's also a very fast blockchain, so super high throughput and scales past 500,000 TPS, so 10,000 plus transactions per second, which is pretty crazy. And then fast and reliable, environmentally friendly, and fully EVM compatible. So it's compatible with Ethereum and a bunch of other networks. So that's why I'm so bullish on this, is because they're not only a solid layer one with all those features, but they're also focused just on real world assets. And so they are DePin and real world assets. So those are two things that are going to be big in this bull market, and we're already starting to see some big gains there. So in terms of market cap, Solana was around an $85 or $90 million market cap before it exploded. This was like late November of 2020. And so here in late November of 2024, we have Peak, which is at $130 million market cap. And just looking at the last 7 days, you can see how it's going up and to the right. And then if you go out further, zoom out further, you can see another thing to look for in a chart is just that you can see early that a lot of people that got in early on this, like VCs and other people that got in on the IDO, they took their profit here, and then that's when it started to go down. But then it formed this base right here down at the bottom, and now it's starting to uptick and head upwards. And so this is another good thing to look at, is that this U shape is typically a bullish pattern. And when we get back to the other end of that U, a lot of times it will consolidate for a little bit, and that's the cup and handle pattern. And so a lot of times it will consolidate right there and then shoot up, have a big increase from there. So that's something to look at that you don't necessarily have to be a technical analyst to know, is that this cup pattern is a good structure to see. And so that's another reason that I'm bullish on, because just how the chart looks as well. And we can see that 100x from 130 million would be about $13 billion, which is not that crazy, because we can see that Solana and its market cap went up to $75 billion. So $13 billion is definitely doable for this peak. And I think it has a lot of good things going for it. And so I just bought some recently, and I'm going to be adding to my position. And I'll probably take some profits off of Solana and roll those into Peak, just kind of dollar cost average out from Solana and into Peak as we get more into this altcoin season. Because right now we're seeing the altcoins start to run. And so we'll eventually see these bigger cap altcoins and a lot of this money flow down to these lower cap altcoins like Peak and other things. And Peak is available at a few different exchanges now. I got mine at Bitmart. So I have a link in the description if you want to get a reward for signing up for Bitmart, and you can get it there. And then lastly, I just wanted to get into the DGen meme coin that I'm looking at right now. And this is kind of on the same Doge narrative, and it's called 𝗏𝗏𝗃. Right now, this is at about $12 million. And so it's very low market cap, very risky. And just to be clear, like, I'm not buying this right now. I'm just kind of looking at it because some things about it I really don't like as far as the charts. You see a lot of this crazy up and down movement in the chart, and it's fairly new, so that's kind of to be inspected. It's like 10 days old. But I'm just kind of watching this right now and waiting for it to see more of a structure of it forming like a base and upticking into an uptrend. Right now it's just kind of all over the place. And when it does that, I'll be more interested in buying, because even if it starts doing this and goes up to like 25 million and starts going up and to the right, like, I'd rather buy it there than right now, because right now I'm not really sure about it. I just want to see some good structure to it first before I get into it. But that's kind of one to put on your radar. It's a meme coin that's touching on the 𝗏𝗏𝗃 that when Trump gets in, that Elon Musk and Vivek are going to do. And just because those two guys are on it, this podcast is going to be huge. And so this is a meme coin that's kind of playing on taking advantage of that narrative. So that was kind of a longer video, but I had some stuff that I thought was important that I wanted to share and get in front of you before it starts taking off. And so if you appreciate the content I'm giving you, again, make sure to like and follow. And I'm going to go and set up my tree for Christmas and play some music, play some for King and Country while I do it. So it's going to be fun, and we'll see you next time.